Liz,
Court.
do you have something to share?
Yes. I got to see a movie in theaters before it comes out.
Ooh, should we tell the people about the movie?
Yeah, I think we should.
Let's do it. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Court.
And hi, B Critics fam. Welcome to another episode of the B Critics podcast. We are starting a new series where we discuss up and coming and new releases, spoiler free.
Yeah, so we put out a poll on Instagram asking if you wanted to see more new movies, if you liked the older movies, and the consensus was you liked both. So this is us giving you a little bit more of what's new and out there. Sometimes it'll be, if we get to see it before the movie comes out, then we'll have like a release so that you can decide whether you want to go see it. And then sometimes we'll see it just kind of like opening weekend and then have something that comes out along with the movie coming out.
Yeah. And this is also like Liz trying to convince me to go see it because I didn't get the opportunity to see it. So Liz
Yeah.
got some what do we call it? Like pre-release or like early viewing?
Advanced screening, yeah.
Advanced screening. Okay, I was close enough. So we got some tickets, but they were in Atlanta, so I didn't get to go.
Mhm.
And so Liz went with Hayden. But I've never actually seen a Mission Impossible movie. So
Which is kind of wild.
yeah.
And also, like,
Yeah.
how cool that we got to do this. Like, I know I keep saying we. It's a shared experience. I got to go do it, but like, it's the podcast experience, right? And so,
Yeah. I got all the
I don't know.
pictures while it was
I felt like
happening.
a big girl. I was like, oh my gosh, like, we're real podcasters
We're
now.
making it. We know people. We're getting invited to
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
Yeah, the little ticket said like the B Critics podcast.
So
So
fun.
cute.
Yeah, I know Hayden especially felt really cool. He's like telling all of his friends because, like, I mean, all of his guy friends know the Mission Impossible movies, and yeah, they were
Yeah.
all
So
very
if you
jealous.
haven't picked it up by now, the movie that we're covering is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And Liz
Yes.
got to see it like 2 days ago at this
Mm-hmm.
advanced screening.
Yeah, it was very
Yeah.
cool, very fun.
So tell me about the franchise cuz like I mean, I've literally never seen a Mission Impossible movie. And I've obviously watched the trailers for this one cuz they've kind of been everywhere.
Yeah,
And I know like the gist, like Tom Cruise's own stunts, like that's the thing, right? He produces all the movies too.
yeah,
But like set the scene for me, I
yeah.
guess.
So this is the 7th Mission Impossible movie,
Oh my gosh.
and like you said, it's part 1, so it's a 2-part. I think this is supposed to be like the finale of the franchise. I don't know that for
Okay.
certain, so like don't quote me. Like all of you out there, don't quote me. Like maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, all good things come in sevens. That's
Okay.
like a
Well,
Harry
there's going to be
Potter
an
thing.
8th, so
Chris Martin said that. Yeah, but it's part 1 and part 2, so it's kind of like the same as
yeah.
Harry Potter. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So 7th movie, um, and the last one. So Mission Impossible 6, which is Fallout, came out in 2018. So we've been waiting 5 years for this movie to come out, and all of you loyal Mission Impossible fans out there, like, props to you for waiting that long because these movies are, I mean, I don't know how you could wait. It's crazy.
Well, these movies have kind of been like super spread out. Like I think the
Hmm.
first one came out in 1996, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the year I was born. So
It's
it's been a
almost like 30
long
years
time.
later.
Okay, I know I'm old, but please don't remind me. Um, did you see Mission Impossible 6 when it came out?
No, I didn't. And
Okay,
I
so
don't know if I've seen Fallout. I know I've seen like some of the earlier ones. I haven't seen all of them. My dad was into the Mission Impossible movies, so I've definitely seen at least a few of them.
mhm,
But I have not seen Fallout.
okay,
So
but they can act as like standalone movies, I guess.
yeah, so I'll give like a quick just like introduction to Mission Impossible. So it
Okay.
follows the missions of Ethan Hunt, who's played by Tom Cruise, and he's original throughout the whole series. Tom Cruise is in it. So it follows the missions of Ethan Hunt and the IMF team, a top secret spec ops task force that takes on what are deemed, you guessed it, impossible missions. So yeah, backstory on Mission Impossible. For this movie specifically, so in Dead Reckoning, Ethan and the IMF are tasked with the mission to track down a terrifying new weapon threatening life as we know it. And in true IMF fashion, Ethan and the team must take matters into their own hands to keep the weapon away from the bad guys and ladies. So what's the catch? No one seems to really know what the weapon is, how it works, or where it's located. With every new piece of information, the mission becomes increasingly more life-threatening. Ethan slowly realizes that this may be the most important mission of his career and likely the most dangerous too.
So how different like is this plot than like any of the other Mission Impossibles? They're all like sort of the same, right? Like he gets a
Yeah.
mission with the
Yep.
IMF and has to
Yeah.
go solve said impossible mission.
That's literally, yes, nail on the
Yeah.
head. It's just like a different thing that they're tracking down or chasing down or hunting down or whatever each
Mm-hmm.
time. There's new villains, there's new people added to the team. And like the whole premise behind like the Mission Impossible is like IMF is called the Impossible Mission Force. So it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much like these people who at some point in time have had a run-in with the law enforcement. They've done something bad and they've been given a choice. You can either serve your sentence or you can use the skills that you have to serve your country on the IMF.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like a motley crew. And they see things very differently, but they all have these like incredible skills that help them solve these impossible missions.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But yeah,
this one,
they
oh, go
kind of stand
ahead.
alone. So you
Cool.
don't have to like watch them in order or anything like that. You can just watch this one if you've never seen them before. So yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes sense because they're all spread out. Like the first one came out in 96, but then 2000, 06,
Mm-hmm.
2011, like they have to be standalone movies. And that kind of makes sense that they are kind of like I would imagine
Mm-hmm.
like Fast and Furious sort of like kind
Yeah.
of the same story but like made different, new directors, new
Mm-hmm.
effects, like new technologies with the movies. So,
And they like reintroduce everything every movie. So
yeah, yeah, for sure. So this one's 2 hours and 43 minutes. That's
yes.
long, but I would expect
Yeah.
nothing less from a movie like this, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, it really didn't feel that long. Like when I was watching it in theaters, I had the same reaction that you had about like in Across the Spider-Verse, where it's
Mhm.
like, it's over? Like what?
Yeah,
Like
because it's a part
already? Like
1. Yeah,
2
because you,
hours
like,
and
don't
however many
feel
minutes? Yeah.
wrapped up at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good feeling, though. Like, when you
Mhm.
finish a movie and you're not, like if you're not watching your clock or anything, like,
Mhm.
that's the mark of a good movie, I think.
Yeah.
Um, so it's PG-13.
Yeah. So it's PG-13, which I mean, I guess they kind of have to because there's a lot of fight scenes in it. But I would say
Mhm.
overall it's pretty family friendly. There's not a lot of like bad words. There's really not any nudity. It's
Okay.
it's just an action movie. So if you're comfortable with your children seeing fight scenes and blood and stuff like that, like I would say it's fine. I
Okay.
would let my kids go see it if I had them.
Hmm. I don't know. I have to watch it before I make that particular call, but, so it comes out on July 12th, which
Mhm.
is this
In a
coming
few
week.
days.
Yep. And it was made by Skydance Films and Paramount Pictures
Mhm.
and directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who has made the last two also. So he made Rogue
Mhm.
Nation and Fallout as well. And then he's also
Yep.
going to direct part two.
Mhm. Yeah, and he has like two other action movies that are not as well known as the Mission Impossible movies. But he doesn't have a ton of movies under his belt for his career.
He wrote The Usual Suspects and
I think he's
received,
written more than he's directed.
yeah, that's cool. That's cool though.
Mhm.
Like I feel like if you want to be a good director, you kind of need to be a good like storyteller. So it kind of makes
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And this movie obviously has like a super notable cast. We've kind of touched on it a little bit, but like a lot of returning people, a lot of new people will talk about him. But just to list off like the notable ones, we've got Tom Cruise, obviously, who stars in everyone and produces them. But then Haley Atwell, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, Vanessa Kirby, Palm Clementif, and Isai Morales.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's a bunch of people in this movie, but those are like the main characters. A
Mm-hmm.
surprise for me, kind of a side character that's just like recurring throughout the movie, was Shea Wiggum.
Okay.
Or I think it's Shay.
Yeah.
And he's in like a lot of stuff, like TV shows and movies, and he always plays this like good bad character that's like trying to do good but isn't always on the good side and has this like redeeming arc thing. I don't know. He does it so well. And when he came on screen, I was like, "Oh, I know exactly like what character he's going to be."
Oh, yeah. Cool. We love good additions to the cast.
Yeah.
There's also those people that are just like made for movies like this, like they always play
Mhm.
that one role in the action movie, or they always like kind of like how Keanu Reeves, like you watch a movie for Keanu Reeves, like his
Yeah.
character, not like the movie. You know what I mean? I mean, you
Yeah.
do watch it for the movie, but
Like going to see a movie that Ryan Gosling is in. You're like, I mean, it's going to be a good movie, but we also want to see Ryan Gosling.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's how like a lot of actors are. But I feel like Ryan Gosling has a little bit more range. Like he plays different characters. Um, but like the like kind of what you were saying with this guy, like he always plays the same character.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Um,
do we want to talk about like the returning characters
yeah, talk
versus
about
the new
him.
characters?
Tell
Okay.
me how they
So,
were.
we already talked about Tom Cruise playing Ethan Hunt. Obviously, he is like perfection in this role. He's been playing it for almost 30 years. Like he should be good at it. Um and
How old
then
is
we've
he?
61. So he's
Okay.
like pretty old.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's
61
pretty
is not
good.
old, but he's like up there.
I mean, it's old compared to me. Um, it it's impressive that he's, like, doing this crazy action movie, doing his own stunts at
Mhm.
61, like, must be in
Yeah.
pretty good physical condition.
Yeah, he looked great. I mean, he looks older, obviously, but I mean, he still looks pretty good.
Yeah. Do they, like, keep him true to his age pretty much?
I think so. Maybe he may be playing someone who's like a little younger, but not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
not a ton.
yeah.
Um, so other returning characters are the IMF team. So we've got Luther, Benji, and Ilsa, played by Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, and Rebecca Ferguson.
Okay.
Um,
I feel like I don't know any of them as, like, actors.
yeah, I mean, I don't know why you would if you're
Actually, I
not.
do know Ving Rhames. He looks recognizable.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're in stuff, but I don't.
Mhm.
I mean, they were all in the last movie. So
Yeah.
another one from the last movie is the White Widow, Vanessa Kirby, and I think her character's name is Alana. I can't remember her last name, but
Okay.
she's like a villain.
Mm. I mean, with
So
the name White Widow, that
yeah.
definitely sounds like a little villainous.
Yeah, so she's a returning villain.
Yeah.
Um, and then a surprise return that's like not really a surprise because he's shown in all the trailers. Eugene Kittredge, who who plays the former director of the IMF. He's from the original film, so he was the director of the
Oh,
IMF in the original film that gave Ethan Hunt the original like, what are you going to choose? Are you going to accept your mission or not, kind of thing. And that's
cool.
played by Henry Czerny, same actor.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's fun to see like the returning characters. There's some new characters who are featured in the trailers, but it's not really explained who they are. So we've got Palm Clementif and Issei Morales are both featured, but I'll let you go and see the movie to find out who their
Yeah, I
characters
like
are.
Issei Morales and other stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
he always plays a really good character, like
mhm,
multifaceted character.
mhm. He's in Ozark, right? As like the drug lord.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, yeah. I like that character. That's kind of how like I imagine his character would be in Mission Impossible. Like obviously I don't know, but
He does the very stoic, very well.
Yeah, like kind of like
Like he's like scary.
seems nice but scary. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly what I was
like
gonna
dad
say.
vibes
Yeah.
when you're in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. So for action movies like this, like the cinematography is obviously like so important and the soundtrack is so
Mhm.
important. So how do you think that they did in this one?
I think it was fabulous. Like it was flawless.
Yep.
So there's only 4, so Hayden and I stayed like through the end credits where it's like the theater lights came back on. So like we just want to like see what's going on with these credits.
Mhm.
And there's only 4 songs featured and they're all instrumental. There's no like pop songs or anything like that. It's all instrumental. So you've got
Okay.
the theme song, which is the dun 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 dun,
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Iconic.
Like throughout the film. And so when you hear these themes like coming back up, you know like something's going to happen or like Tom Cruise is just being cool or something.
Yeah.
Which it like adds a lot, especially for an action movie when there's like a lot of built up suspense or you're just like running through a city, like to have the fun like background music like adds a lot. And then the movie is also shot entirely in digital. So it's the first of the Mission Impossible movies to be shot entirely digital. The other movies have all been shot in 35 millimeter film, which gives it like the digital gives it like a very crisp feel. You kind
Mhm.
of feel like you're there. And I know this one's an IMAX too. And so like I can only imagine like watching it in IMAX and like feeling like you're there. Like there's a scene where they're like in a car chase through Rome and like that would be incredible in IMAX because it's just like I don't know, it just looks so real.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, that totally
and
changes the whole feel of the movie.
yeah,
Yeah. Did you liked it though?
I know sometimes when a movie's filmed like digital, it can make it look fake, like it's almost too real, like it
Mhm.
was edited
Agreed.
or photoshopped or something, but I didn't feel like this one had that feel at all.
I noticed it in the trailer. Like you can tell like Tom Cruise looks a little bit different. Like he's got like a big head. Like
Mhm.
he looks like he's like right there. Like you're just like standing
It's like
next to
higher
him kind of.
quality.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like when you see yourself for the first time, if after someone's taken a photo of you with like a really nice camera and you're like, "That's what I look like," you can see
Yeah,
like your
that is
little
the
pore
worst.
and
It's the worst. I want that muted version of this photo, please.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously the Mission Impossible like franchise is known for its action sequences. It's an action
Mhm.
movie.
Yeah.
So what did they do in Dead Reckoning specifically that like you really liked or like stood out to you?
Yeah. So, like you mentioned already, Tom Cruise does all of his own stunts.
That's cool.
And so it's really cool to see like how they choreograph those and knowing that it's real. Like, um, I don't know. It's just there was a couple times where I was watching and I was like, no way. Like, no way. Tom Cruise actually did that. And yep, he did it. He really
Cool.
did that. All of the fight scenes are choreographed really, really well. There's very little special effects used in this. I think they're like the car chase I mentioned, they like crash through the Spanish Steps, and like obviously they did not crash through the Spanish Steps in Rome. So like
Yeah.
obviously that was a special effect, but like everything else like is choreographed. They're having real sword fights. They're having hand to hand combat. Like it's cool because there's not a lot of movies now
Yeah.
that are like that. That it's
No, for
all
sure.
real.
Like when you watch a Marvel movie today, like you can
Hmm.
tell it's all fake. Like it just
Yeah.
looks so fake. So like when you see it like actually done
Hmm.
with like real choreography, like a real fight, like it's
Hmm.
so much better in my opinion.
And they've gotten really cheap on CGI too. Like they're
Well,
going for
just
like quantity over
overworked.
quality and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not good.
for sure. Okay, so we have to talk about the stunts though, because like
Yeah.
the one I know is because you see it in the main trailer is like
Yeah.
Tom Cruise on his motorcycle and he like launches himself off a cliff and then just like
Yeah.
dives and never parachutes and you're like, buddy, you're gonna die. Like I that's like the one clip where I'm like,
Mhm.
Tom Cruise could die doing these stunts. Like he is a
Yeah, he could.
madman a little bit.
Yeah, that moment specifically was really, really cool. And what's neat about this movie too is a lot of times when you see a trailer for a movie, they'll pack like everything that's interesting about the movie into it.
Mhm.
Like especially if it's like a comedy film, it's like all the funny parts are in the trailer.
Yeah, I avoid
Um
trailers these days. Like Barbie, like avoid everything. Avoid social media. Like there's so much Barbie content. They're like
yeah, if
giving
you don't
away
want
the
to know,
entire
don't.
movie. Yeah.
But this one they did a good job like showing that one stunt, but obviously there's more. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you've got almost 3 hours of movie jam packed into it. There's so much more that goes on.
There's
Um
so much movie.
they kind of hint at like a fight scene on top of a train,
Mhm.
which is really cool. We talked about the car chase already. Um, and the motorcycle. So when he like motorcycles off of the cliff. So obviously he had to do a lot of training for that, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he said that he did over 1,300 motocross jumps just to
That's
like prepare for that.
wild. That's
And
wild.
he went
He's such
through
an
a
adrenaline junkie.
yeah.
He's nuts.
He also went through a 500-hour skydiving like training,
Okay, yeah,
which
he
is a
probably
lot
had
of
to,
hours.
right? Like in order to be, I don't know, like
Qualified.
qualified. Yeah, yeah, certified, qualified.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
yeah, he's just like an anomaly. Like, I don't know. That's just wild to me. And he's like still insisting on doing all of his own stunts. It's crazy.
I feel like he lives like a life of luxury. Like he produces these movies, he makes a shit ton of money. He
Yeah.
gets to just like be an adrenaline junkie all day. And
Hmm.
like these movies are all shot like all around the world. Like he gets to just
Yeah.
like travel the world all the time
Hmm.
for 3 years while he films this movie.
Yeah. They are all shot like on site. So the places that you're seeing, they're actually there, which
That's
is
cool.
really cool.
Did they go to any cool places like in this one?
Yeah. So in the trailer, you obviously see Rome with the Spanish Steps.
Yep.
The train scene, I think they're supposed to be like in Rome or around Rome or something. My geography
I'm
is
not
not
jealous of
incredible,
Rome.
but
I was not a big fan of going to Rome. It's kind of a tourist trap, but
yeah.
it's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of the same with like all big cities, but
Yeah,
and
probably.
then they also go to the Middle East. So they're in
Okay.
Abu Dhabi in the airport for a while.
Cool.
So, yeah, very, very cool locations, lots of like neat scenery. And the way they film it, like they do these aerial views so you can really like see the landscape. And
That's so cool.
yeah, very, very neat.
I think the only thing left to talk about is your in theater experience. I
So
like
official.
need yeah, like I just need to know how it was. I got snippets of it, but we haven't really talked about it. So
Mhm.
I want to know just like how it was different than going to the movies like normal, I guess. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So this one, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, is being released in the standard theater format, Dolby Cinema and IMAX.
Okay.
So standards like you go to any old movie theater and watch a movie.
Mhm.
Dolby Cinema is like the Dolby curated visuals and surround sound. So
So
it's
you
like
saw it in Dolby, right?
I saw it in Dolby, yeah. It's like all very tailored to the movie. They adjust like there's like 50 million. I wish I could have like taken a picture of the speakers. I kind of have a
Mhm.
video where you can see them a little bit. But there's just like they're everywhere. They're in the floor, they're on the ceiling, they're on the like their speakers are everywhere and every single speaker is like tailored to the movie. So it gives you like the optimal like listening and viewing experience, which is super cool.
Yeah, I love going to the
Um
theaters.
if you can if you have a Dolby Cinema theater near you, I would recommend seeing it that way or an IMAX just because like it is an action movie, like, you know.
Yeah.
Um and I would say too, just like seeing action movies in theaters is always better anyways. Like
Yeah.
you can't
I
get a
think
screen that
generally,
big in your house.
like, seeing a movie in theaters for the first time is typically better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's exceptions, but,
Mhm.
like, I like seeing movies in the theaters. I've recently been going, like, all the time.
Yeah. And we like kind of touched on this a little bit at the beginning, but I did get to go to like an advanced screening. So this was not like a typical movie experience. So
Mhm.
like there's no advertisements. Um it's literally like just the movie.
Didn't you say, like, the
And
theater's, like, unmarked too? Like, they
yeah,
don't let, like,
mhm.
people know that it's going on,
They
basically?
don't advertise it. So you show up, there's two people that just look like normal people that scan your tickets to let you in. And then there's
very
representatives like
exclusive.
waiting outside. Our theater was actually marked for Indiana Jones. But
That's
obviously
tricky.
that's not what was playing in there. And so you go in, and like on the screen is like the movie poster thing, along with like some like instructions, so key dates like for all the embargoes. Luckily I saw it like the day after the embargoes ended, so like not a ton that is restricted at
Yeah.
this time, but still like no cameras, no, obviously they don't want you to like record any part of the movie, so everyone has to put their phones away. And
They
they're
made you turn
like,
your phone off, right?
yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
phones off. If we see phones, like you will be escorted out of the theater. Like, oh,
Good,
okay.
good. You don't want people
Taking it very
ruining the movie.
seriously.
I hate people who spoil movies or
I know.
spoil shows. Spoiling anything is like the worst.
Yeah, I agree. Um, but yeah, it was very cool. It felt very official. There was like a whole reserved section for Paramount Pictures special guests.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you kind of get to pick where you want to sit. So Hayden and I got there early. We were able to pick the seats we wanted. And yeah, it was super cool. Everyone was very respectful. I know sometimes you go to a movie and it's like, man, like, can you shut up, or like whatever. Like everyone was there to like see the movie and watch
Everyone
the
takes it
movie.
was taking it seriously, you know?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
also we have to talk about this. So you were telling me that you and Hayden realized that your husband,
Yes.
that it was your first movie theater experience together, which
Yeah.
I personally feel like that's fake. Like I feel like you're lying.
Fake news. No. So I thought it was fake too. Hayden's kind of a jokester, and he likes to say things which be like, "Oh, our first movie." And I'm like, "Haha, very funny." And he's like, "No, like we've never been to a movie theater together." I was
That's
like,
so
"What?"
crazy.
I know, because we both go to see movies. We just go with our friends and we don't go together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that was obviously very special too, that we got to like have this experience together, and it was our first time going to a movie
Yeah, that's
together.
so cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it does sound really fake because we've been together for almost 10 years. So like, how does that even happen?
I don't know. That's wild.
I know. But when was the last time you went on a date to a movie theater?
I went, oh, well, not a date, but I
Like with a
went with my
friend?
friend.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't
I think
know.
movie theaters are better friend date than it is like a date date.
Yeah, I mean, because you can't really talk at the movies.
Hmm.
Like everybody says, like go, or like it's like a cliche thing, I guess, to go to the
It's like
movies
if you're
with
trying to
someone
go
you're
make
dating.
out and without your parents seeing you, you go to a movie.
Yeah, yeah, probably when I was like in high school, honestly,
Yeah, I
if
think
we're
the
being
last time
real.
I went on a date to a movie was in high school.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend going to this one on a date unless you and your date are like super into this movie, because you're not going to be talking. Like you're going to be entranced.
Well, you shouldn't really like. I feel like you shouldn't go to any movie unless you're gonna watch the movie.
Yeah.
Like, don't go to the movie theaters if you're just gonna disrupt other people's experience.
Yeah.
Okay, Liz, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we covered like so much.
Yeah. So part two is coming out this time next year.
Yeah, June 28th, 2024 is when part 2 will release.
So you don't have to wait quite as long.
No, but this one does end on like a pretty massive cliffhanger. So be prepared for that.
Yeah. I mean, it has to, right?
Yeah.
Um, so you sound very passionate about this movie.
Hmm.
Very excited. So I don't think your rating is going to be super surprising, but
No.
what is it? And as a
So I
reminder, we
gave
use
it,
letterboxed ratings.
yeah. So I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5.
Okay. That's pretty good. You're
Yeah.
making me feel like I need to go see it because this is not like I like action movies, but this is not my
Hmm.
typical type of movie.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like too, if I'm gonna see it, I should see it in the theaters.
Yeah. I fully intend on watching this movie again.
Okay.
Um, this is like inspiring me. I want to watch all of the Mission Impossible movies now
Wow.
and then go see this one
Okay.
again. So like watching them all and then going and seeing this one again, probably in
Okay.
theaters. So,
Wow. So there's not a lot of other ratings out there. The letterboxed
mm-mm.
average right now is 3.8 out of 5. But I have seen that the tomato meter is at a 99% right now, which is
Yeah.
Like,
That's
it's almost as
crazy.
high as it gets. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's been going up too. Like, they
Mhm.
were advertising, like, earlier in the week that it was at 97, and then Thursday, it was, like, at a 98, and now it's sitting at a 99, which is just, like, people really love this movie, and I
Yeah.
think if you're on the fence about it, like, just go see it. Go see it, and if you don't like it, you never have to watch it again, but, like, it was a great movie.
I'm curious
Really,
to
really
see,
good.
like, how that tomato meter ends up, like, in the next couple weeks because I feel like it will
Mhm.
change a little
After
bit,
more
but
people see it.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, and I
Mhm.
guess, like, the audience score too. I'll be curious to
Yeah.
see what that is.
Yeah, we'll have to, like, update everyone on it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for giving me your take and your synopsis without really
Yeah.
spoiling anything.
Thanks for
Um,
listening. I mean, you know I love to talk, so.
yeah, I do.
Before we sign off, I do wanna give, like, a huge, huge thank you to Allied Global Marketing and our friend Lewis, aka Filmmaker 117, for supplying us with these tickets and giving us this amazing opportunity to see the movie in advanced screening. I mean, it was really fun. Um, I had a blast, and I hope you're all inspired to go and see Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yeah, I might have to be one of those people as well. Okay, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. Thank you for tuning in to our Mission Impossible movie review episode. Leave us a rating or a review, drop a comment on YouTube, and leave us an answer to our poll and Q&A section on Spotify.
You can find more information about the podcast, plus our entire podography on our website, bcritics.com. And you can find links to all the things on our Linktree, which is in the episode show notes below.
And be sure to subscribe, please, or follow so you don't miss it. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
All right. Bye, guys. We'll see you all Monday.
Bye, guys.